Okay, so we've got this kind of tracker working. We've added our own custom points. Got the scene to scale eventually, and we've got this kind of card which is kind of a 6 foot man, which is that's what I'll name it, a 6 foot man. Just as reference really. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some geo as well, which we'll use for kind of working out where things are. So this is called a point cloud generator. It's a point cloud generator. We're going to plug in the camera. So you can see the camera's kind of here, so we can just plug that in there. That's the camera. I'm just going to add a dot, which it is control on a PC and command on a Mac. And then I'm going to plug this into the source, which for us it'd be the only stored footage. I'm going to plug in this like that. Okay. That's basically all you need to do. I'm then going to go to analyze sequence. So this will analyze sequence for us. This doesn't always work. It depends on what sort of shot you're working on. This has quite a bit of parallax in it, and yeah, the deviation is low. There's lots of information, so it should be okay. I'm gonna hit track points next. And again, just make sure it's the right frame rate. Shouldn't take long to do. And if we now view this, we've got, well, basically got this scene, which is quite amazing. I'm going to reduce the angle threshold here because it's just getting rid of loads of information, and it looks like it's done quite a good job. If you have a look, it looks really good. This is our full environment. It's not too bad. There's a few bits and pieces that we might need to sort out, but most of this stuff's done quite a good job. Now it's not got anything at the foreground, but it's got the other little bits and pieces. So I'm just going to hit delete rejected on the red bits there, and I'm just going to play around with the density threshold and just start to kind of increase that a little bit, and that should start to get rid of like unwanted points, ones that kind of floating around, and then we hit delete rejected again, and maybe we could again increase this a little bit more just to kind of clear up a little bit more. That looks relatively okay. Great, so that's us done for that. So what we can actually do, we can actually play around with this point cloud size and have a quick look. So this is the main environment you can see, which is pretty flat, which is pretty cool. It's not done a bad job at all. So I've got some floating bits and pieces there. So I'm going to maybe increase this a bit more, maybe increase our angle threshold a little bit, and delete again. And that looks pretty good. So what we've got this stuff, these clouds, to be honest, and my main focus is really this bit here. So I want to see if I can play around with the threshold a bit more, but I'm noticing it's taking away. I'm just going to increase our, density a bit as well. See if we can kind of clear this up. I don't want to delete too much. If I delete that now, we kind of, it's not great. And we've got all this stuff here. I really want I want to try and clear up this back end best I can, to be honest. Just going to increase that a bit more again. Maybe hit this to 9, maybe 2, 3. No, it's too much that, I think. 4, 3. Let's try and delete that. It's taking a lot away there. I'm going to go back on myself. I want to keep it like that. That's fine. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to this option here, which is like, is this like the vertex option? This is like faces, vertex. What's this? So select faces, vertices. This is this selects objects essentially, that one. But yeah, I'm just going to select those. So this is changing Nuke 15, by the way. To get to this, it's actually at the top in Nuke 14, but we're in 15, so we can select it from here. So all you have to do then is just select what you want. I'm just going to select that. And I'm going to go to groups. I'm going to go create group, and now it's got basically create a group from that selection. I'm going to call it I'm going to call this proxy geo, like so. Great. And then I'm going to go bait selected groups to mesh, and there is our mesh, which is that, which is great. I want to make sure that we're on just this mode, which is just selection mode. I'm just going to see what this looks like. You need to remember to have a scene here to plug in multiple nodes. If you don't, you can only plug one thing at a time into the scanline renderer. So you need to plug multiple things. You need a scene node. So I'm just going to bring this down, give us some space. And I'm just going to plug this in here like so. This is really handy to use and have. I'm going to do a wireframe on this again. So I'm just going to do a wireframe node on this. Plug this in. And let's quickly view it. I'm going to view it from here. So you see we've got this nice big piece of geo which covers most of the area, which is great. So we need to see through it and check it works. So I'm just going to go to see through, and I'm going to reduce the line size so we can see it works. You might want to change the color or the width. So colors are kind of an interesting one. If I just get something that looks relatively alright, maybe red, that might work. Well, that's not working, is it? Increase that, so that's the alpha channel I was playing with there. Yeah, it's not too bad. Maybe 0.1. Yeah. Have a play around with that, see what works. You just need to be able to see the plate underneath it to see if it's sticking. So now, if we were to just, that looks okay. So if we was to view it from here, move this down a second, and play this. Hopefully this should all kind of stick, and you can see. So for example, you got this little bush here, whatever it is. I'm not too sure what that is. This is staying there in the same place. It's not moving, and that's what you want, essentially. Now the geo, it's not picked up like all the, you know, it's not picked up. It's made more of a ground than actual. It's one of those where you can use it, and it's good for like working out where things are. Now what we could do is we could specifically just select. We're working on this section here, so maybe we should just select this little bit of geo here. So this will help. This might help us. So at the minute we've got the whole thing selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to our point. I'm going to go down to our point cloud generator here. I'm going to view it. Actually, no, can't really view it. I need to see what this looks like. So I'm going to go to. Can't see the camera, which is annoying. That's all right. I'm just going to delete that a second. So really, we just need, a little bit. We need a little bit selected. So what we'll do is I'm going to select I'm going to make sure I've got it set to vertex so I can actually do this. Select this little bit here. I'm going to go create group, and I'm going to call this screen left far building. And make sure you kind of keep it like that. Make select so much to geo, and I'm just going to see where this has put me. I think this might be in the right place. Grab that like that. Looks okay. Just going to turn it off for now. Let's just turn off back to selection mode. Hit 2D, and it's actually giving me quite a big chunk still. Which is all right. We just need a little bit less than that, don't we? But you can see there that's our main area. So we could just use that. That's all we kind of need to use is that little bit, and we've got extra little bit there. So we can always make an even smaller piece. So let's do that. We might as well. Go back to vertex mode. Now ideally we would want to see through the camera, but we're not seeing through. It doesn't really let us see through the camera, which is a bit annoying. So I might just see if we can see this. Just turn off selection mode and just have a quick look and see if we can actually spot it. I think it's there. I think that's where it needs to be there. So let's just go to vertex mode and select that bit. I think that might be enough. And then we'll go groups again, create group, and I'm going to call this Control C that, Control V that. I'm going to call this foregroup patch. It's a bit, and then create selected again and see what we get. A little bit back and forth with this, but it's not bad for free. I'm just going to delete that for now. Actually, hopefully this is right. Let's view that, see what it looks like. And that's a bit better. So we've got like this vicinity now, which is great. Cool. So now we've got some geo we can use. We've got proxy geo with the whole thing, and then we've got like a little bit of a section, which is great. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to label this stuff up. So I'm just going to select everything here, backdrop, and I'm just going to call this camera tracker. Cool. Great. And what it might be worth doing actually is it might be worth rendering this out. If we create a ray render, this is a better render. It's got better render quality than the scan line. Plug this into the camera, plug this into the background, and then plug that into your geo. What does this look like? Nothing. It could be because of the that's interesting that nothing's coming up. So pick it, but obviously picks it up there fine, but it doesn't pick it up there. It's fine. We'll just leave it like that. There you go. So you might want to increase. Might want to render this out as a wireframe render. Maybe you render it out actually with everything on. Just play around with these settings a little bit, so maybe we get this look a little bit nicer than it does. Let's just increase that, and then just reduce this line width to kind of a lot low. Well, it's way too big at the minute. 0.1, 0.05, 0.08. It's not really going any further than that, is it? It might be just to do with the colour then, so maybe reduce the alpha as well. And what you could do actually is render this out, and we can reduce that. We can play around with some of our anti-aliasing settings, so maybe set this to say high, so that we don't get any. We get some decent. So it's just a bit crisper when we're looking at it. We don't want it to be too jagged. If we turn this to none and play that, you get a lot more artifacts than you do if you've got it set to high. It's a bit sharper. Also, if we increase, it's not really doing much for us actually. That seems to be relatively okay. I'd say just maybe increase it to high, the anti-aliasing, and just write this out as a .mov, and that could be like a wireframe render for your match moves. Yeah, it's definitely worth having. But you see, it's not done a bad job. It's got all these kind of bushes and It's not going to get the detail of the, it's done quite a good job of the bushes and trees you see there, but obviously it's kind of just working, it's more of just the ground for everything else. So yeah, cool. All right, brilliant. So the next one, we've set all this up, we made some geo. In the next video we'll paint out the car park. Great.